Hi, I'm Robin Johnston and this is Obsessed with Tech. On today's episode we talk about backing up your computer, backing up all your files, keeping them safe, and we introduce a segment of this show that I'm really excited about. So stick with this. Obsessed with Tech is coming at you.
This is Obsessed with Tech with Robin Johnston, where we take a look at the latest hardware and software. We also find the coolest gadgets and the neatest websites and the latest, greatest podcast. And now, here's Robin.
Today we're talking about backing up your computer, and regardless of whether you're a Mac or a Windows user, it's important to back up regularly. Leo Laporte, who I often quote, recommends at least a weekly backup, and the important thing is that you get in the habit of doing it, and I really agree with that. Having lost files in the past, being in the middle of papers and having a computer crash and everything being lost, I think it's really important. You don't want to lose those family pictures or important documents or videos that you just could not replace. Once they're on a computer, we often just forget about them and think they're there and reuse tapes or erase memory cards. And if something was to happen to your computer, hard drives go bad. Usually they only go bad after the first, if they're not going to go bad in the first little bit, then normally you have at least a couple of years, but they can go bad at any time. The unthinkable could happen. It could be stolen, fire damage, water damage, any of these things that could happen could just wipe out your data and all these precious memories you have. So it is really important that you back up. So today we're going to give you a few little important sort of tips and just sort of points that I follow and I think is common sense to follow. I don't think many people out there would disagree with what I'm about to tell you. The number one thing, I mentioned it last episode, run your computer with more than one account. Okay, run your computer with not only just a primary admin account but also user accounts. Okay, so if anything did happen, you still have access to your computer. If one of your logins got corrupted, you could always delete out that account and create a new one. So that's a primary thing. I would also, if you're using Windows, I would use the automatic backup feature that Windows has, the restore feature, enable that. That's a nice little backup. I haven't had a lot of success with that going back long periods of time, but it is something there to consider. I know other people who had saved them. Have an external backup drive. I have a couple of external backup drives. They're really cheap now. You can just buy an enclosure, or you can, if you don't want to buy an enclosure, you can buy them all as one complete unit, and you plug them into USB or FireWire. I try and buy the FireWire ones. I find them just a little bit easier for me, but USB they have as well. And that's just a drive that you just plug in once a week or whenever you're going to back up, and let it back up, or leave it plugged in and let it just back up on a regular basis. But that's only going to protect you actually right physically there. It's only going to protect you if you leave that external drive right beside your computer. Then if someone comes in to steal your computer or fire, water damage, that one is probably susceptible to that as well. So what I would recommend is an off-site backup as well. And three main ones which you've probably heard before, the ones I'm going to recommend to you as well. Carbonite, which is really good, Mozy, which is really good, both www.carbonite.com and mozy.com. Also, Amazon has a really cool feature now. It's part of their S3 Jungle Disk. And basically when it comes down to it, you're going to be paying in different ways. Carbonite lets you pay a yearly amount. I think it's around $50, $49, and you can back up as much as you want. But you're not really going to back up all of your programs and stuff. You don't want to back up anything you actually have hard copies for, like program files and stuff like that. You're going to be backing up all the stuff you wouldn't want to lose. And this is all encrypted online. Be wary of that if you're going with a company that I did not mention. Make sure all the data is encrypted before it gets to the company so no one can go snooping in. There's no chance of that, of any of your privacy. Mozy as well is another great option. Mozy allows you to pay on a monthly basis, and again, backing up all your stuff. Amazon does a little bit different. They offer, I think it's like 15 cents a gigabyte, and you'd be surprised depending on what kind of user you are. If you're not a power user and you don't do a lot of video, I do a lot of video for this show, this podcast, but generally most people, you know, you're not going to have probably more than 10 or 20 gigs. On the Mac side, exclusively Mac, there's always .Mac, which again I think is about $100 yearly subscription, and they I think allow you between 10 and 20 gigs of backing up space up there, and that actually offers a little bit of an extra option as well. It actually allows you to sync up and restore stuff to different computers when you move as well. So we have, make sure you create a system restore point if you're using Windows, .Mac if you're on the Mac. Make sure you run as multiple users, that's always a good idea. External backup, the drive you plug in. Another really good option, and my father-in-law actually just picked up one, is something called a NAS, or network assisted storage or assigned storage, and network aware storage. I know there's a lot of acronyms around for the same thing. I've seen them. Basically what it is, it's hard drives with a little bit of software built in, like a mini computer, but without keyboards, without mice, without a monitor. And it sits on your network. You plug it right into your router, usually through the FireWire port, and it sits on there and it's accessible to your entire network. And you configure it all through like a web page interface. So it's very easy. And what that allows you to do is to back up automatically. It's on your network. It allows you also to serve files through to all your computers as well. I really like that option. The one he has allows the inputting of 2 separate drives, and you can configure different RAID formats. And what RAID basically is tells how it backs up your data, or how the data is stored on there, whether it spans over multiple drives or has one and one that's redundant. The leading talk, I guess, is RAID 5 is probably the best for most people. Cali Lewis really likes the Drobo. She has actually a discount coupon if you want to go to her site for the Drobo. And it is basically the same. I believe that has 4 drives that you can back up. So these are all network attached storage devices that are a really good idea for that. And I don't have one of those yet. My father-in-law does. I helped him set his up. Took no time at all. Took more time just to slide the drives, and then it did actually to configure it. So I'd highly recommend those options, and your online offsite backup as well. Okay, so that is backing up for your computer. We're coming up on our one year anniversary of this show. March 18th, it marks 1 year for the Obsessed with Tech podcast. And I've been kicking around a few ideas on how to change the show and what direction to take it in. And in responding to some viewer mail and my own ideas, I want to introduce a new segment on this show, and I think it's going to be really exciting. We often talk about the tech that I'm obsessed about, and your emails tell me the tech that you're obsessed about, and I filter that into the show. But I thought it'd be nice to have sort of little cameos throughout each episode about things that people we know or people we respect actually are obsessing about at that particular time. So starting over the next couple of weeks, I actually sent out some emails, and I've got a few responses back. I'm going to start with the tech community, and then I'm going to branch out into the entertainment, the sports, political, and we're just going to keep expanding it out. The people that we look up to or respect, or the celebrities, what they're obsessing about. So look forward to that in upcoming episodes, and yeah, our 1 year episode's coming up. So I'm going to try and keep this short today. Once again, my name is Robin Johnston. This is Obsessed with Tech. If you have any ideas for people you'd like to know what they're obsessing about, please send them in, obsessedwithtech@gmail.com, and you can always find us at our blog, obsessedwithtech.net, and also .com and .tv. So thanks for watching. Get out.
This has been another episode of Obsessed with Tech. Thanks for watching this Robin J production. Also, a huge kudos to all those who helped make this episode possible. So, we'll see you next time when you'll say that you are also obsessed with tech.